We're going to talk about compounding interest. So what was the formula we used yesterday?
Y equals AB, or A over,
Y
equals A times B.
A times B to the X power. Okay. So all of them today are on compounding interest. What is the A? Tell me.
1,000.
That's your starting amount. Yep. How much? So if I'm talking about compounding interest, how much I'm putting into the account. Like I'm starting with number one with $1,000 in the account. If you look on the other page of examples, I'm investing $820. Or, $16,000. That would be nice. Or, $95,000. So how much you're investing your starting amount. What does the B refer to? The percent, like your growth rate. But I want to write it as a decimal, okay? And then X is the number of times that the growth, or decay if it's a decay problem, but these are all growth, the number of times that the growth occurs. So again, Y equals A times B to the X. So all the ones we're doing today are all about calculating the future values. On Monday in class, we're going to solve for how much time it takes to get to a certain amount and things like that. So for the first problem, it says you deposit $1,000 in a college fund. So this is your A value, your starting amount, and it pays 7.2% annually. That means it pays this once a year, and you want to find the balance after 5 years. Okay, so since we're doing this annually, it's a little bit easier to do. So you're going to say Y equals, my starting value is $1,000, bless you. Okay, so how do I figure out my growth rate? What do I have to do?
100 plus.
Yeah, so I'm going to do 100% plus 7.2% gives me what? 107.2%, and then I need to make sure I write that as a decimal, so that's going to be 1.072. Okay, so this is my growth rate, my B value. So back to my equation. I have 1,000 times 1.072, and I'm going to take it to the X power. Now, how many times am I doing this? 5, because I'm doing it for 5 years. It's annually, so it's once a year. So I'm only doing this 5 times. So when you take your calculator, you're going to do 1,000, if I can get it to the right feature here, 1,000 times 1.072 to the 5th power, and let's round to the nearest cent. Pay attention in Delta Math, let me just be specific. Pay attention to how it wants you to round. Sometimes I was looking at problems this morning and it would say round to the nearest 100. So make sure you're paying close attention to how you're rounding. Hopefully that's not the reason you're getting them wrong. Okay, so I got $1,415.71. Is that what everybody else got? Yeah, it's 0.708, so that 8 would round it up to a 1. So I'm just doing dollars and cents. Since you're talking about money, you're never going to go past this. We're not going to talk about tenths of a cent. You know, you see that in gas prices. You ever see that little extra 9 at the top there? So you see that with gas prices, but we are not going to talk about that extra tenth of a cent when we're talking about something in some type of fund. Now, those are the easiest ones, in my opinion, if it is done annually. If it's not compounded annually, there's more steps to be taken. So questions on the first one. Okay, let's shift down to the second part. It says, do the same problem, only the interest is compounded quarterly. Okay, so quarterly means how many times a year? 4 times a year. Okay, so my original equation, my amount is still $1,000. Okay, but since I'm compounding it quarterly, you're doing 7.2% over the whole year. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? The 7.2% is not each quarter, it's over the whole year. So, since it's 4 times a year, I have to take the 7.2% and I have to divide it by 4 first. Because again, like if I'm starting in January and I'm going to December, again, I've got to split this year up into 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody with me on that? So what's 7.2 divided by 4? 1.8%. So it's like each quarter, I'm calculating it by 1.8% because that gives me a total. Did you say 1.8?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It gives me a total of 7.2% over the whole year. Everybody with me on that? So if it's not annually, you have to take your percent and divide it by how many times it did occur. Okay, so to figure out my growth rate in my function, I'm going to take 100%, not plus 7.2, but plus 1.8%. So this is going to be 101.8, which as a decimal would be 1.018.